welcome to the Fantasy Football Fix. I am Richard from the Dipsy Dudes, and also a welcome to all those new members of the Dipsy Dudes Divisional Championship who joined us last week. Remember, the league is now open to new entrants. It's for the same time period as the January wildcard window, so that is up to game week 23. So if you want to join, stick around for the code. It was an interesting game week 21 with plenty of high scorers and a number of disappointing performances. Some very disappointing points hauls from certain teams. I'm looking at you, both Manchester clubs. So before we look ahead to game week 22, let's look back at game week 21's dream team. It's a 3-5-2 formation that's just so hot right now, with Arsenal and Chelsea getting strong representation. Your top point scorer being Ageuro Sanchez, who after a quiet 2 weeks stepped up with 2 goals, an assist, clean sheet and full bonus points. A full house, if you will, for 19 points. Alongside him, it was another impressive week for imoscar.com with a 13-point goal, assist and maximum bonus points display. If Oscar played every week, he would be one of the most must-have players in the game. He's got 90 points so far and he has played 1,323 minutes so far this season. That's an average of a point gained every 14.7 minutes, or roughly translating to 6.1 points every 90 minutes played. And I don't know about you, but if I had a player who was guaranteeing me 6 points every 90 minutes, he'd be in my team straight away. Yes, indeed, most definitely. But Jose doesn't play him every week, so he is such a waste, such a fantasy football waste. Alongside him, we find Markovic, who had his first significant points of the season. Fernando, who is on a mini run of form, adding 9 points to make it 21 points in 3 weeks. And finally in midfield, Jason Puncheon, who got 9. More on that later. In defence, Chelsea are repped twice through Cech in goal and Ivanovic with a clean sheet, assist and deuce bonus points. Some people have talked about Ivanovic and being overpriced and not worth the money, that kind of thing. But I think he is one of the most dependable defenders and one of the most dependable players in the game today. 10 clean sheets, 21 bonus points. The only thing disappointing is the fact that he hasn't got a goal since game week 3. But I think he is worth the money. I know he's a high-end defender, but I think he is worth it. Alongside him with 12 and 15 points respectively, you have Lauren Koscielny and Paul Konchesky with goals, clean sheets, and the only points difference coming from bonus points. Lauren Koscielny, Paul Konchesky, you got to have a system. Finally up top we have 2 budget strikers making the headlines this season, and both in a good run of form, with Danny Ings and Berahino with goal scoring man of the match appearances. Right, that was last week. Let's go deep into game week 22 and the players for your consideration. To understand our future, we must learn from our past. So let's go down memory lane with Crystal Palace. Last season, Palace had a terrible first half to the season. They changed managers and then went on an impressive run of form which saw them go to safety. And maybe history is repeating itself now that Neil, none of my sackings or failures have ever been my fault, Warnock, has been replaced by Alan Pardew. Now, one of the most impressive men in that run of form from last season by Crystal Palace was Jason Puncheon, a man we've already mentioned this week. Last time I talked about Jason Puncheon was in game week 1, where I asked whether he'd be able to carry on his great second half of the season form into this season. Well, he hasn't, has he? But He got his first goal and bonus point since game week 3 last week, and he's still coming in at 5.5 million. And with Palace taking on Burnley this weekend, followed by games against Everton at home and then away to Leicester, may be worth keeping an eye on. Check out this story as it's ongoing, I say. Staying with Palace, they've got a brand new striker in Yaya Sanogo, who's coming in at a price of 4.7 million. He's only played 138 minutes in the league this season, so I would be very wary about putting him in your team right away. I mean, he is cheap, but at the moment, the one thing we've got an abundance of is budget strikers in form. I mean, there's Austin, Berahino, Ings, Kane, Barnes, even the likes of Naismith, Crouch and Iorzi have had good runs of form this season. Maybe he'll flourish, but a watch list at best for him. Leicester find themselves home again this weekend, and after getting a clean sheet last week, this week they go up against Stoke, whose performance against Arsenal last week could be best described as dickless. I mean, if you are looking at Leicester defenders, you've got Konchesky for 4.5 million or Wes Morgan on the random for 4.4. Now, they might be bench players at best for yourself, but they might be worth a gamble. On the flip side though, Stoke couldn't play any worse than last week, could they? Hey, remember before Christmas when I talked about Southampton's tough run of games and wondered whether it might be time to get off those players? Well, I guess they are the real deal. They are now away to Newcastle this weekend, who shipped 3 against Burnley last time they played at St James's. So I stick with your Southampton players. I don't need to list the impressive displays of the likes of Bertrand, Klein, Fontaine, or especially Forster in defence. If they play like they did at Old Trafford, where they pretty much played the perfect away display, they'll be getting 6s all round in the Southampton defence. However, I am going to throw one wild card into the mix for the Saints to consider: Remy Cabella. It seems that Alan Pardew had been playing him out of position all year long because he looked kind of impressive against Chelsea. He was quick, he had skill, he left John Terry standing multiple occasions, and the defenders looked worried every time he was dribbling with the ball. He hasn't scored more than appearance points since game week 12 though, and again he is a little on the dear side at 7.1 million. Now, I'm not recommending that you move money all around all over the place, play your wild card and get him into your team right away. All I'm saying is, he looked good last week when they implemented him in a slightly more advanced position. I'm just wondering, is it going to be a flash in the pan, or is this the start of a second half of the season renaissance? I was gutted I didn't mention Andy Carroll last week, as I really should have. In 2 league counters now against Swansea, he has looked like a goal-scoring powerhouse with headers and bullet shot finishes all over the place. This weekend, West Ham host Hull, who are having an attacking injury crisis at the moment, with Jelavic and Hernandez both out. Coupled with the fact that Hull haven't been in a great run of form for quite a while now, and this could be a game for the big man to shine, and he's yours for 6.9 million. Now, the big game of the weekend sees Man City go one-on-one with Arsenal at the Etihad, or, in fantasy football terms, the battle of the 2 biggest fantasy point scorers in the game today. It's Aguero versus Sanchez. I wouldn't back either of these 2 teams defensively at the moment. City are looking lost without Vincent Kompany, not getting a clean sheet since before Christmas, though Kompany could be back this weekend. Then there's Arsenal's defence, which has Szczesny in it. Aguero is only just coming back after his hot streak was curtailed by injury. He's played 30 minutes since game week 14. That, of course, led hundreds of thousands of managers to dump him from their teams, getting him out there. But That mass exodus on Sergio Aguero means his price has dropped by 0.6 million and he is now yours for 12.3 million. Mind you, you might be wondering, oh, he has been injured, but he's only scored 2 points since game week 15 and he is still in the overall dream team. That's how good he was before he went down with injury. So, is now the time for Aguero to return because he is that damn good. On the flip side, Sanchez is coming off a big, sexy points haul from last week against Stoke and is the top scorer in the game today with 141 points overall. I think between the two, I'd be more confident getting into business with Sanchez right now over Aguero, just because Aguero is coming back from injury. But with Aguero's price drop, it is very tempting to move some money around and get him back in. Definitely as a long-term investment, as long as he stays fit. This game will decide whether a lot of managers out there have a good or a not so good week. So choose wisely. The Dipsy Dudes Divisional Championship. Well, the effects of the league being open during the wildcard window are sending shockwaves through the league. But at the very top, we have a new leader with messing around getting a huge 91 points haul thanks to the shrewd selection of Sanchez as captain. Will it prove to be beneficial again this week? Just 2 points behind, we have Latchford again, and Rentewag is holding on in there in third. However, the top 10 has been shaken up with the introduction of Flanagan FC and Bring Back Canings, which just makes things tighter and tighter, just how I like it. So last week I asked the question, who's playing their wild cards and how many transfers you made? So let's have a look at what you guys have been saying. Micah Henry got in touch to say he's played his wild card on the morning of game week 21, making 12 changes all together and taking advantage of that Aguero price drop. Cameron Tibbetts went for another 12 transfer wild card with only Costa, Sanchez, Silva and Baines surviving the cull. Thomas McCarthy played his card for a conservative 6 transfers, joining Gareth Schofield and Ross Monster 3001 who have already played their wildcards. Only Mayank Dembia got in touch to say they are holding out for the end of this month. Is this the week you decide to play your wildcard? Let me know. Okay, that's about it for this game week. Thank you very much for joining us. Remember, if you like what you see, click the like button, leave us a comment, and most importantly, subscribe to ensure that you get the latest Dipsy Dudes videos as soon as they are released. We have a social media presence and a discussion group at fiso.co.uk. Links in the description. And the Dipsy Dudes Divisional Championship is open to new members, and you're going to get the code in just a few seconds. But for right now, once again, may I say good luck to all you managers out there for game week 22. I hope that you'll be bouncing on your 22s. That's a wrap wheel reference on cars, 22s, hydraulics, bouncings, whatever. Here's the code.